Hi everyone, and welcome back to Team J Classroom's Fun page. I am Jordan, and today I'm super excited to share with you one of my favorite activities that I like to do in March. As we know, or as many of you probably know, March is a really big month for basketball, and my husband's a basketball coach, so it's always huge in our house. And with the tournament coming up, it's fun to kind of include your class in some of it. So in another video, I will be sharing about how I've done a basketball room transformation in my classroom. But for today, I want to share with you just one aspect of what I do. So one of the things that I do, and I've done this before, even when I haven't done the basketball room transformation, is a book tournament. Now, you could really do a book tournament any time of the year. I like to do it during March because it ties in nicely with March Madness. Obviously, you can do it whenever you want, but it's a lot of fun and the kids really get into it. And it's a great way to expose them to new books. It's also a great way to practice a variety of comprehension skills. So there's a lot of academic pluses to it. And honestly, it's fun. So what I like to do is I print a bracket. So this is one that I got from printyourbrackets.com. Okay, it's a free website. You could also make your own. In the next video, I will show you how I made one before when I was being real fancy. If you don't have time to be fancy, which honestly, I typically don't have time to be fancy, you can just print a bracket. So what I tend to do when I do the book tournament is I have a Sweet 16 bracket. So what I do is I first start by picking out 16 books. Now, when I'm picking out books, I always try to pick out books that are maybe not as familiar to the kids. So these are not ones that, are read again and again and again and again every school year. These are also not ones that are as common like the new popular ones, because sometimes the new popular ones they've heard in library, they've heard here and there. So I try to pull out some that maybe are new and they haven't heard of yet, or that maybe are just, not as commonly used, because as we know, some of those books, they're great. But if they've heard them again and again and again, it kind of takes the novelty and the newness away from some of this. So when I'm pairing books, a few things I look at, like I said, I try to first pick new books, and I'm going to share with you some of the ones I like to use. And this way, if maybe these are books that are more unfamiliar to your students, you could use them as well. So I start by picking my 16 books. What I try to do sometimes is pair books up that kind of make sense together. For example, I tend to do Silverlicious. I think I normally do it with Aqualicious. I don't have that one here at home today. So this obviously is one that sometimes they're more common, they know, but I kind of like pairing like Silverlicious and Purplelicious or one of those together, just because it kind of is they go nicely together. It's fun to have them go head to head. Another book I like to use is this book, Unplugged. This one would be great to use, dropping things over here, with another book about technology, Tech, the Modern Cave Boy. So these ones would be great to have go against each other in a game because they're kind of about the same thing about technology. These also are ones that I feel like kids don't always hear as often, so you could use these ones as well. Another one that I like to use is The Adventures of Beagle. This is a really cute story about him trying to find a friend. Another one I use, this is a good one too. This is a moose. I really like this one. This is all about how they're trying to record the moose doing something, and they're like, well, moose doesn't, he's not an actor. He can't go to outer space, all this. It's a really cute story. This one's one of my favorites to use for the book tournament. It's called Wolfie the Bunny. I don't feel like this book is as commonly read. Again, maybe you've heard it. I don't know. At least at my school, it's not as commonly read. So Wolfie the Bunny is about this family that takes in this wolf, but the bunny is like freaked out because they are a bunny family, and she's like, this wolf is going to eat us. It's a really cute story. I won't ruin all of it, but it's a fun one to use for this as well. Never Let a Unicorn Scribble. This is another really good one. The kids really get into this one, and they make some cool pictures in here. And last but not least is one of my favorite books to use for this. This is called Bedhead. This is a great book to use. It's great for a lot of different skills because it has amazing adjectives and there's some alliteration and different things in here. But this is a great book to use because I feel like it's not as commonly read. Like anytime when I read this one to my kids, most of them are like, oh, I haven't heard this book before. It's always nice to find those like hidden gems because again, like some of the books are just used and used and used. So once I pick my 16 books, what I then do is I will then write them in and put who's going against. Like I said, I kind of try to put books together that would make sense together. Like again, Silverlicious, Pinkalicious. Or if I'm doing a series, like sometimes I'll do that Pig the series. Like I think there's Pig the Stinker, Pig the Winner. There's all kinds of different ones. So I'll put like two of those against each other because again, it just kind of goes together. So what we do, and this takes more than a few days. So I tend to do this over 2 to 3 weeks, just like they would the tournament. So obviously the first week you have a lot to get through. So what I would do is read both books. Sometimes I might read one in the morning, one in the afternoon, might be back to back, depending on what our day looks like. Then once I read both books to the students that are going against each other in the game, then I have the kids do a silent vote. So then we vote, the book that has the most winners then moves on to the next round. So then we do that with all of the first group of teams. Once we've done that and we now have our Elite 8 books, that's when the next week we have new books going against each other. I do like to reread the books each time. You have kids who are absent. You have kids who forgot what happened in the book, things like that. Now, as I read the book again during the Elite 8, the Final Four and all that, I don't necessarily read it as slowly or take as much time on it, but I do read it again just so they're familiar with it. So then I'll read it again we'll vote, it'll move on, and eventually you're gonna have a champion. And it's always really fun to see what book wins. Each class, each group does different things. Even when I've chosen familiar or similar books like to past years, it's really neat to see how each class kind of has their own personality and they have their own favorite books. So this can be a fun way to tie in some March Madness into your classroom. I will go ahead and link some of those books below with some affiliate links on Amazon. So if you're interested in grabbing those, you can. They will be affiliate links. I also will go ahead and link where you can print free brackets. I'm pretty sure you can also type the books in, or you can just write them in, whatever is easier for you. So I hope you find this idea helpful, and I hope your March is off to a wonderful start once it gets going, and maybe you can try a book tournament out with your class, whether it's for March Madness or something else. Talk to you later.